Doing this coffee break with Jimmy. Well, I guess the California, the voting here is on a slow walk, and I don't understand why. I mean, other states they have elections, and elections that they've had, and I guess there's going to be a couple more coming up yet. But usually they have the elections completed in a couple of days, and in most cases. But now California here, we had our election here for the primaries here on the 2nd. And that's been now four days anyway. Today's the 7th, so it'll be 5 days. And they don't have, it's not completed. The counting isn't completed. Apparently they still got over 1 million ballots that are just setting aside for them yet to count. Now, I'm pretty optimistic. I'm pretty optimistic about this. I was really optimistic when more Republicans had actually signed up for the election, and Democrats. I mean, there was I think there was 167,000 extra Republicans that actually signed up for the election, and about 10,000 Democrats, and I think there was 30,000 independents that actually put their I guess they ordered the ballots. They all get mail-in ballots. Everything in California it's mostly mail-in, okay? And it shouldn't be that way, but they still have, even where I took my ballot at Tulare Memorial Building and dropped them off there, and they had places there for people to actually vote. But I had my ballots; they were sent to me, and but apparently, some of these ballots that are sent, they got to clean up the ballots. They got to clean up the voters because some people have died, some people have moved away, and there's still something around 800,000 people that they're supposed to take off the voting ballots. But apparently they haven't done that, and so they got so many. Even the other day, I guess they go bunches at a time, but so many bunches of votes that get counted at a time. I guess there was 20,000 votes that came in that they were counting at one time. 10,000 votes, and this was just for the Los Angeles mayor. 10,000 votes went to Bass, and 10,000 votes went to Raman, and but Pratt didn't get any. Now that's just unusual. I mean, you get 10,000 to one, 10,000 to the other, and the one the Republican didn't get any. And when the first night on the 2nd, when they had the end of the first night, and I guess you would say the morning of the 3rd, I think Pratt was around 35%. Pratt was around 28%, and Raman was somewhere around 18 or 19%. And then if you looked at for the governor, that was just for the mayor of L.A. And now for the governor, they had Steve Hilton was sitting up around 27. I think Becerra was at. I want to say he was at 25% or 24%, and Steyer was at 19%. Now, you would think that the voting there, you're going to have a little bit of shifts as time goes on. And you're talking about just a couple of days, 2 days, 3 days, and the voting should be done. Everything should be counted by at that point in time. Other large states, I know they say Florida is always done in a couple of days, and so is Texas. I mean, these states are just as large or larger than California. I don't know why they can't get the voting completed. But I think it has something to do with the ballot harvesting. And I think that's probably why they have these extra votes to count up. And this is all. I mean, I don't even know if any other blue states do this, but I know California does this, and and of course that they go against one another. They don't have a primary for Republican primary and a Democrat primary. The primary consists of all Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, and then the two top vote getters for each seat, then they run against each other after you complete the primaries. And So this now we got Democrats and Republicans, and in this case here you got two Democrats for running for governor. And you got Hilton when he was leading the way, and because really I think California, I really believe a lot of Democrats and independents are saying, we all feel that we need a big change here in California. We've needed a change for some time. Now Steve Hilton says 16 years a Democrat-run state. Okay. I beg to differ. I think it's more like 30 years that the Democrats have run the state of California. And, this slow walking the vote has been this way for some time now, especially the midterms. When they're voting for president, it's a little bit different. They seem to speed it up a little bit, but it's still slower. And for the state of California, it's always the last ones to send in their results. But it just goes hand in hand. What's going on in overseas, in Iran and all, and the ones that are saying, we shouldn't be doing anything against Iran because they haven't done anything. Well, I don't know who they're talking about or what they're thinking about. Maybe they're just all these Gen Zers that weren't old enough to know what happened 47 years ago. But Iran's been saying this for some time to get rid of America, and they want to kill the big Satan and the small Satan, which is America and Israel. And this has been going on since 1979. So something had to be done, and Donald Trump was the first one to have the balls to do this. But this is all coming from the argument and the complaints are all coming from the Democratic side. And even like this, what is his name? Rohan? Yeah, it's Rohana. Rohana. He's a Democrat, Republican here in the state of California. But yet, he's over talking about the Senate race in Maine, and he's backing up this Graham Plattner. And what is he doing over in Maine? I mean, he's a California congressman, but he's also a Democrat. And I just believe this all goes hand in hand. Whatever goes wrong, and what's going wrong with the California voting right now, it's all due to the Democrats and their policies and the way they do things. And this has been going on for some time. And I guess the AG, this Harmony Dillon, she's an assistant AG, an attorney general for the state for the United States. I guess she's trying to, she wants to look at the California voting, and they're going to look at it, but California doesn't want to let them do it. Because they don't want anybody to know exactly what they're doing here in California. But this slow walking of this is, the numbers are up. I just, what I've been saying so far was the numbers from I guess on the 3rd. Now today, I saw the numbers today. Now Hilton is sitting at 26%, and Xavier Becerra, he's sitting at around I think it's 27%. They're just 1 point across, but they already gave him a check mark. He's going to be one of them. Is going to be running for governor. So it's going to be between Hilton and Steyer. Well, Steyer's already up to 23%. Okay, and Hilton's sitting at 26. Well, how does Steyer gain so much ground? Same thing's happening for the vote for the L.A. mayor. Okay. Bass has been sitting pretty much steady, right around 34, 35%. And Pratt was sitting at around 29%, and he got up as high as 30%. But this Raman, she was sitting around 19%. Now she's sitting up around, I think she's only 1% behind Pratt. Now, how does that happen? Usually, okay, in a couple of days, it might change a little bit, but this is drastic changes. Now, I'm not talking about the rest of the down ticket. Some of that could be different. It could be more or less. I don't know. I can't say that I've looked at that. I'm just looking at those two there, for the L.A. mayor and for governor. And it looks like they're going to push Pratt out as far as being the mayor of Los Angeles, and they're going to try to push Hilton out too. I mean, they're just pushing that way. So somebody has to investigate this. So the U.S. Attorney General, this Harmony Dillon, she's looking that she's wanting to investigate this, or the U.S. is wanting to investigate this, the United States government, and California is saying no. It's just kind of like this Nick Shirley thing, where they passed this Nick Shirley Act, where they can't have investigative journalists go and investigate anything that's happening with our tax dollars, which Nick Shirley has exposed a lot of this fraud already, and there's a lot of fraud to be exposed. I'm not just talking about in hospice and Medicaid, but this fraud goes deeper than that. And they want to investigate this. They want to investigate a lot of things, but the Democrat government, basically, in California, doesn't want to let them do this. So I say this is fraud. Now, as optimistic as I am, and I am optimistic, I want this to work out fair. And I really thought that we have a chance with Hilton running for governor. And Pratt, of course, I'm not going to vote for him because I don't live in Los Angeles. But Pratt looks like he has a good chance of running for mayor, because I don't think Karen Bass has a chance. But it looks like they're going to push them out, because the Democrat way, their voting process here, is going the opposite direction. And these are just numbers, okay? But you look at the numbers and look how they're happening. And they said they still got over 3 million votes to count, and they're going to count votes until the 10th of July. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the count should have been done. Everything should have been done by now. But because of harvesting, which California is big on harvesting the ballots, I think they're harvesting the ballots. And they said, well, they're going to find, I don't know, Gavin Newsom said something about, well, he has something that's set up to where there's not going to be any Republican running for a governor of California. And he has something, I got that taken care of. He's something along those lines. Don't say verbatim that I said that this is how it was said, but it's along those lines, And it's like he's going to prevent any Republican running for the governor of the state of California, because Hilton has policies. He has a plan. He has where Becerra doesn't have a plan. Katie Porter didn't have a plan. She's not even in the picture anymore. Steyer, all he's going to do is throw as much money as he can, because he's a billionaire. So I guess he's already invested $20 million or better, to run for governor of the state of California. And that's just the Democrat way. So I think the U.S. government, and I think this Harmie Dillon, she's an assistant attorney general for the U.S. government, and I think they should allow her. I believe it's her. It could be someone else, but I believe it's Harmie Dillon. I think they should investigate this. And because, all this fraud and everything that's been going on, you're talking about other states, you're talking about Minnesota, you're talking about Maine, you're talking about even in other red states. Ohio, I heard there's a lot of fraud going on in Ohio. I'm not just subject to the red states. Blue states have some fraud going on too. This has been going on for some time. So I think they should have investigations on this, and I think the investigations, it's not over with yet. And maybe Hilton might hold on. Maybe Pratt might hold on. I don't know. But it looks like it's going the other way, okay? And it's taken a long time, and they're just slow walking the vote. They're not counting this stuff fast enough. It's almost as if they're pulling out other votes, this harvesting the votes, pulling out other votes. Maybe they got some in lying in wait, and waiting for them to count them. Kind of like that when Biden was running and was running against Trump again for president in 2020. And they shut down the counting there in Atlanta, and they sent everybody home because they had a leak. You remember this? They had a leak somewhere, and so they sent everybody home, and we're going to continue the counting in the morning after they got the leak finished. Well, just not too long, an hour, 2 hours later, all these counters came back, and somehow or another, Biden got 150,000 votes, all in one swath, but boom, just like that, in Georgia, and they had it on film. They had a camera on this, because they had a camera in the stadium there, and they had this on film. But yet they had no standing, and they couldn't prove it for some reason. But now they've proven this since. But that's where I think President Trump should get another chance. He should have 2 back-to-back administrations. But the 22nd Amendment? I think that should be revisited. But anyhow, I think this should be looked at. I think we're getting treated unfairly. And there's a lot of Democrats. I've talked to a lot of Democrats that are my friends that have changed their voting. They're voting for Hilton. They're going to vote for. I mean, I don't know anybody. Honestly, I don't know anybody that lives in Los Angeles is going to make their vote one way or the other, because I don't know many people from Los Angeles. But you can see where that vote's going. Where now Pratt is. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Bass is around 35, where she's been holding pretty steady around there. I mean, she's the incumbent. She should have got 50%, but she got around 35%. Okay. And Pratt's still sitting around, he's sitting around 28 now, something, 27, 28. And Raman is right, I mean, just one, she's like 25, 26, right behind him. I mean, she's just slowly gaining ground. I think this needs to be investigated, without a doubt. So, anyway, this is Coffee Break with Jimmy. Please, if you got any comments, comment on this. Let me know what you think. And please subscribe and press the like button and that notification bell, so I'll see you next time on Coffee Break. Thanks.